Hi everyone, it's GreenMomZoe. Long time no see. I know I've been absent from the digital world, but I decided to reconnect with all of you and make a very special video. It's a beautiful day today, September 2016, and I just decided to come to the local park and kind of enjoy the beauty of the turning seasons. The leaves are turning yellow and orange and red, and it's just gorgeous to be out here. If you follow my social media outlets, you've probably seen a picture of me that talks about going to New York City to do something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And finally, yes, finally I was able to accomplish this very big goal of mine. So you're wondering what is it? So without further ado, I had my very first Akashic Records reading. So you might wonder, what is the Akashic Records? I'm gonna make this video for that reason, to explain to everyone out there who may have heard or never heard about it what the Akashic Records are. But first, I just want to bring into your attention a book that I have possessed for the past 5 years. It's Mr. Edgar Cayce, Akashic Records, written with the help of Kevin Tedeschi. He is one of the best documented psychics of the 20th century. He actually is known also as the sleeping prophet, because he would put himself to sleep, and in that state he's able to access every soul who went to him their Akashic records. He's able to tune into them and read information that is pertinent to their current incarnation. So it could be anything from any illnesses that either might be happening or may be happening in the future, to possible cures, to patterns of behavior that might be destructive in nature, to lessons that might need to be learned, to any previous experiences in previous lifetimes that might have impact on the current life of that soul. So Edgar Cayce was able to channel himself through the different dimensions and access those records for that soul that went to him for help. The way he describes Akashic Records, I would read a little passage from his book. So in an effort to describe how this is feasible, Edgar Cayce stated that it's possible for the individual to attune to the Akashic Records in the same manner that a radio could be built to tune in to radio waves. Although the records are not physical in nature, an individual in attunement can hear, read, and experience it nonetheless. In order to illustrate what an individual might perceive while viewing this information, Cayce told an 18-year-old girl that Akashic records of the mental world might be compared to a movie theater of the physical world. This movie could be replayed in an effort to understand what had occurred in the individual's experience in any period, at any time, or while in any place in history. Also within this data was a record of the lessons learned, opportunities lost, faults acquired, and experiences gained. In addition, although an individual's actions could be misinterpreted or misconstrued in the physical world, the Akashic records maintain an objective record of the person's real life, because it's reported from his or her true intent. So basically, the Akashic Records is the records of your soul throughout the different lifetimes that you have incarnated on Earth. It's almost like a digital library. Think of it as like the computer that you go and you can search anything for anybody and be able to get information on them in this lifetime. So the Akashic Records are a virtual library. And it exists in another dimension where there is no time and space. It's just omnipresent dimension that can record this events of the soul throughout lifetimes. So I've been able to find out a channeler in New York City who has experience with reading Akashic Records. Her name is Sylvia Chappell, and actually she was recommended through the Edgar Cayce Center in New York City. The thing about Sylvia is that as soon as I was able to get in touch with her and see some of the videos that she has made on her website about what the Akashic Records are, I felt this sense of peace and comfort because she has this very soothing and calming approach to interpreting the records. Very loving, very compassionate. And in that sense, it put me at ease that if I'm going to give someone a permission to open such important information of my records, I wanted to feel comfortable with who they are, with their energy, with how I feel around them. And certainly Sylvia was that person who was was just felt right. So this past week, I went to the city. We scheduled our session, and the way it went is it's usually 1 hour reading, but it could stretch to an hour and a half, even 2 hours, depending on how much information that comes through from the record keepers through Sylvia, and then how much information that you want to ask about and acquire. So we went in this small room, and the way she does the reading is that she first says a prayer, a special prayer that puts her in the right state to receive this information. And then from there is opening remarks that could be anything from like a minute to 10 minutes or maybe even 20 minutes, depending on what information comes through. And in those opening remarks, basically, the record keepers channel through Sylvia any messages that want to be related to me or to whoever the reading is done for. So without knowing what to expect and having any kind of preconceptions of my own, I just kind of sat back and I listened to those remarks, and I was absolutely blown away by how accurately the keepers described me. The way they went in and pointed out some of the challenges I've experienced in my own life from the very early years to now. It made me very emotional. I actually broke down in tears. It touched me on a very, very deep level. It was information that probably only I would have known, or someone as close as my mom would have known about me. Not so much a stranger who just meets me for the first time. And hearing those words about my character, my soul, my intentions coming from the record keepers was like a reaffirmation of the truth that I've always known about me. So it was really, really very, very deep and very touching message. Also, during those opening remarks, she was able to pick up on the talents that I have carried throughout many lifetimes, like gifts, special powers, gifts, and talents that I have thought about, that I always question about myself. And hearing it from the record keepers was also again like absolutely mind-blowing that that they have also picked up on those talents from their side, from their dimension, and they were able to reaffirm that it wasn't just me feeling it, but there is something true to all of that I've been thinking about. Also, the guides brought up a interesting personal relationship with someone from my immediate family, which I did not expect to come through, but it was really interesting the way they described this relationship and how it came about. And I've got to say, there was quite a bit of truth to the way the relationship was positioned, the interaction between me and that person from their perspective. So at that moment, opening remarks ended, and Sylvia was able to offer me a transfer of energy. And the way the transfer of energy works is that the guides offer it to the soul as a way to like a fine-tunement of your of your being, almost like to clear you out, to remove any negativity, any blockages, and just kind of bring you back to your center. So, and after that, we went into my questions, and of course, probably as any other person out there who is soul searching, the first thing you want to know is where am I supposed to be in life? Like, what field of work, or where should I focus my talents and powers? And all of this I've been feeling inside. Where should I channel it? How should I channel it? So that was my first question. And she related another message from the record keepers about a previous lifetime, a specific lifetime that has a major impact on my current one. And she said that it's very important to understand what happened in this lifetime so I can understand some of the patterns of behavior challenges that are occurring right now. So she described my upbringing from a little kid to a grown woman and the challenges I faced in some of the relationships with family members, with coaches, with romantic partners later on in life. And I have to tell you this without sharing, too much, because there's a lot of personal information that I want to remain private. There was a lot of similarities between what has happened at that lifetime and my current lifetime living in the 21st century here in America. It's almost like the patterns of behavior, the interactions with those people, the challenges I've had are recurring again. And I asked Sylvia to ask my record keepers, is it the same souls who incarnated from those lifetime that are coming back into this lifetime that are causing me those challenges? And she said, it's not necessarily that. It is not necessary for a soul to be reincarnated with you to cause you those patterns of behavior. They actually happen because you are open, or you put the conditions for them to occur. So somehow there's something in my current behavior right now that opens up and allows for these events to happen. So if there's some weaknesses that I have that I never really worked on or tried to improve, this is when those people or the souls would enter now to remind me of those challenges that I need to be working on. So that was quite fascinating and very interesting, because as I was listening to the guides, I could recall several instances in my life where there were such people in my life path that made me experience very similar challenges. So it gave me a really larger perspective of how not being aware of what the real cause of an issue in your life is right now is almost like there's nothing you can do to solve that problem unless you know what really causes it. It's almost like you can't go and heal an illness without knowing the exact source of that illness. So for you to improve a behavior, to break a pattern, to remove a challenge, to heal, you have to know exactly where is that behavior stemming from. And through this awareness, then you consciously start thinking about how to heal and remove that energy so that you can heal back again and start attracting different types of interactions in your life, more positive, more productive, better for your growth interactions. So the Akashic Records, that specific reading for me was absolutely beneficial. After the reading was over, it lasted actually 2 hours. It's amazing how time flies when you don't think about time. But at the end of the reading, I was so overcome with emotion. And at the same time, I felt incredible sense of relief, incredible sense of peace. And somehow it felt good to know that the things I've been thinking about myself, the ways I've been feeling, it's not just me. There's more to it, that it comes from somewhere, that there is a reason to feel that way. And it's a great reaffirmation to know who I am. I don't have to wonder anymore and question myself and doubt myself and doubt those special powers that I have. I just can embrace them now and accept them and be in peace with them. A few days later, I was listening to the recording because you actually can record reading, which I think is very beneficial because as I was listening with my mom a few days later, I was able to hear even more information that somehow I missed during the actual reading, and even more things started to kind of fit into place. Oh wait, now I get it. Now I understand how this particular relationship with this person was this way because of a pattern I've been following. So it's amazing how much such such a reading can do for your well-being, for the evolution of your soul, and I cannot recommend it highly enough for anyone out there who is feeling that sense of being lost and displaced and not sure who they are or where should they be going or if they're on the right path or not. I recommend doing an Akashic Records reading. It is important to know it's not the same as like a tarot card reading or palmistry or another psychic type of reading out there. It's very different in that sense. It's very different because it's not, again, something that is about to predict like, oh, what's gonna happen 5 years or 10 years in your life. It's nothing of that sort. And not to discredit those mediums or those practices, you have to remember that we are souls that are given free will. And at any given point, we're faced with choices that we make. So who's to say what's going to happen 5 years from now when they don't know what decisions you will make before that time? Each decision can steer you in a different direction and might open or close doors. So there's no such thing as like having a destiny that's set in stone, and if something is meant to be for you, that's gonna happen and there's nothing you can do. There's no such thing. I don't believe in that. But I do believe that change in anything in life starts within you. It starts with changing yourself first, changing the energy around you, changing the way you see yourself, forgiving yourself, not being too hard on yourself for mistakes and for faults and failures that you've experienced, because they're all part of this evolution of your soul. Rather than looking down on yourself and beating yourself, you should remember that awareness is the key to healing. Being aware of who you are and what you've done and accepting it allows you to forgive yourself and to choose to do things better in the future. Because it's not the past that determines your future, it's your current life choices, the now, that determines your future. So at any given point, if you feel like you're on the wrong path, you can always turn around and choose a different path. And that is what I learned from the Akashic Records. That if you are aware of your patterns, if you're aware of the root cause of your problems, where they're stemming from, then you're able to address that, so then you can move forward as a better person, as a better soul, as a kind, compassionate, loving, caring human being. I know that was a long video, but I hope I was able to get as much information out there as I can. and help others. I mean, this is the only reason I'm doing this. I will post the link to the Edgar Cayce Center and to Sylvia's website on my blog, which is GreenMomZoe.com. So you feel free to go there and get the information. Feel free to pass on this video or this information to anyone you feel that may benefit from this. And I really hope that you all will have a wonderful lives, and you all find yourselves and you're able to experience love and kindness and compassion and all the beauty of this world has to offer. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.